All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good evening, good evening. Very quickly, can everyone hear me clearly? Yes. How about you guys in the other room? Can you all hear me clearly? Yes. I didn't hear anything, so I'm going to assume that means yes. Listen, I don't even know where that's at. But I can be louder. I'm just trying not to blow your guys' eardrums. So do you need me to raise my voice? Yes? Probably because I'm going to be moving too. So I'm not staying, I don't like that. That's weird. I'm not going to stay in front. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. With me tonight, we have the amazing, the incredible Miss Gail. She is going to be helping us tonight, and we're going to be doing a couple different things. So one, I know that you all have a lot of questions. There is going to be a dedicated section tonight just for Q&A. I promise. It's literally my favorite thing to do. However, I understand that some questions might be personal in nature, or you just don't want anybody knowing that you are the one asking the question. That's fine. In front of you, there might be a pen and a notepad. If there is not, it's in front of your neighbor. If it's not in front of them, it's in front of the other neighbor. Either way, write down your question. Somebody from the township will come and collect it, and then we will answer those questions at the very end. I have 3 rules. Rule number 1, I just work here. Okay? You're not mad at me. You're really not. And if you didn't eat dinner, that's really why you're angry right now. Rule number 2, please be nice. I'm going to repeat that one because there was already some people in here not doing that. Please be nice. We are here to help you all. The best way to get this done is to be kind and courteous. Otherwise, other people are going to feed off of that negative energy, and I'm just not about that. All right? The last rule, during the Q&A, we are going to repeat the question. You don't need to say, can you repeat the question? I'm loud. I promise you, I'm going to repeat the question. All right? Now, I have about a 40 to 45 minute presentation that I don't think anyone here wants me to do. So, I can condense that to about 15, 20 minutes, and then leave the rest of the evening for Q&A. How does that sound? Yes? Round of applause? Let's go. Let's get to work, ladies and gentlemen. With us tonight, did you say that already or no? No. All right. With us tonight, we also have Sean Morrison's office, the Cook County Commissioner. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's also give the township a round of applause. Village. Oh, the village. Sorry, the village. The village. Listen, I don't want any trouble, guys. All right, the village. Let's give them a round of applause for hosting this event. Is there anyone out there that can let me know that I'm clear, that I'm good, that they can hear me? I just want to make sure. No? That's not accurate because I'm nice and loud. All right, well, we're going to wait a second then just to make sure. We want to be fair to everybody, so.
You're saying when you're walking it's muffled, so maybe you're doing that?
Listen, I just have a fat neck, guys. So how about this? Can I use that mic? Let's see.
Or you can use this handheld here.
Check. Whoa, yes. How about this? Is this a lot better, guys? What do you mean, no? That doesn't make sense. But they can see what we're doing, correct? All right, so that's what we'll do. All right, so to begin, Ms. Gail, can you go to the next slide, please? For those of you all who were asking this question earlier, there is a difference between the township assessor and the Cook County assessor. Cook County assessor is someone who is responsible for the entire county, while your specific township assessor is unique to your area. The township assessor does not work for the Cook County assessor's office. It's more like a liaison between you all and our office. Next, Ms. Gail. The responsibility of the assessor's office, there are many, but here's what we do in a nutshell. We are responsible for setting a value on your property. There are almost 2 million different properties in Cook County, and the way we do that is using a mass appraisal system. Now, I know some people think that we pull numbers out of a hat. Some people think we throw a dart at a wall and we just come up with some numbers. That is not how this works. We use a mass appraisal system. We are also responsible for the discounts that you receive on your tax bill. How many of you all know what the homeowner exemption is? Beautiful. What about the senior citizen exemption? Beautiful. Those are all the discounts that our office, there's more, that our office distributes. We are also over the appeal process for the Cook County Assessor's Office, which is what you're doing here tonight. All right? Here's what we don't do. We do not calculate your tax bill. Here's what we don't do. We do not mail you a tax bill. We do not collect your tax bill money. Here's what we don't do. We are not responsible for the taxing levies or the budgets within your specific township. I'm going to show you what that means in a second because I know that might sound like mumbo jumbo. And lastly, we are not responsible for the state's equalizer. The state equalizer is voted on by the Department of Revenue to make Cook County equal with all the other counties in Illinois. Next, Ms. Gale. So very quickly, your guys' deadline was June 26th. However, the appeal system is going to be down June 23rd through the 25th for a maintenance issue. So that's why we've extended the deadline until June 29th. So very quickly, your deadline has been extended from the 26th until the 29th. Listen.
Now keep going, let me tell you. Go ahead.
Ms. Gale, here is some data for anyone here who's interested in the numbers, in the math, right? You can go to cookcountyassessor.com/Orland-2023-residential and have access to all of this information. Using this data, single-family homes in this area, or this township, I should say, the median or average price of those properties that were sold were $357,000. How about like this?
Put it right here, right there. Put it. It's coming through muffled out there. It's much clearer out here.
So what am I doing?
Swallow those out.
Is it better?
Some people said yes.
Some people said yes, some people said no. How about no? What are you guys back there? Does it sound better? Let's go. Round of applause. Let's go. We got it. So, and then what I'll do is I'll just keep my neck up. That way nothing touches anything. Single family homes, $357,000. That is the average price of a single family home in your specific township. Condos are $204,000 and multifamily properties are $503,000. Next, Ms. Gale. Here is a unique tool that you might want to go home and play around with. It is our neighborhood tool. Here, each of you all are in a specific or unique neighborhood code. The numbers I'm using right now are made up because I'm not from this area, so I don't know what your neighborhood code is, but someone might be from 14. Someone might be from 132. Actually, do you have your reassessment notice? Yep. Okay. You are in neighborhood code 30. Is there anyone in a different neighborhood code? It's on your reassessment notice, yeah. So somebody might be in 30, somebody might be in 31, somebody might be in 40. All that means is your property is uniquely placed. And you can find that information on our website using our neighborhood code. So it is under cookcountyassessor.com/Orland-2023-residential. Next, Ms. Gale. All right, reasons why you are appealing. Legally, please, because there's cameras everywhere. There are microphones everywhere, so hear me clearly. Legally, we cannot tell you why you should appeal. However, I can tell you the 3 most common reasons why a taxpayer might appeal. So the first one is lack of uniformity. What's your name? Gigi? Gigi and I live on the same block, house built by the same size, same person, same color, same everything. But for whatever reason, my value is greater than Gigi's, which probably means my tax bill is greater as well, and I want to know why. Most taxpayers choose lack of uniformity when it's time to appeal. You can choose more than one option. Next, overvaluation. I'm going to assume that's everybody here today. There's no way my house is worth this much. If my house was worth this much, I would sell it back to you right now, right? Most taxpayers choose overvaluation. Next, we have incorrect property description, also known as property description error. That just means there's a factual error, which is different than an opinionated error. Factual error means our office says you have 2,000 square feet, but you really have 1,500. A factual error would be our office says you have a condo, but you really have a single family home. Or we say you have a building with 6 apartments or less, but you really have a 2-story, right? There's a factual error. Next, Ms. Gale. Here is what a reassessment notice looks like. From this reassessment notice, there's important data on here for you. Your estimated market value is on here, your PIN number is on here, your neighborhood code is on here, your property characteristics, your most recent reassessment is on here as well. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. Is this a tax bill? No. Beautiful. Next. Also on our website, you can find your characteristics as well. Next. Next. So, what is the appeal process? How does that even work? What are the steps? Step 1, you receive your reassessment notice. This is going to be very loud, and I apologize. Sorry. Step 2, you decide if you agree with your reassessment notice or not. You would file an appeal. Once you file your appeal, step 3 is for an analyst to review it. Step 4, they're going to decide if you are in fact due a reduction or not. Regardless, you're going to receive a decision letter. Your decision letter is going to be mailed to you. Now, if you get a reduction, your decision letter is going to say, congratulations. Due to your appeal, we're going to lower your value by such and such amount. If you do not get a reduction, you're going to get a denial letter. It's going to say, sorry, due to the uniformity of your neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares what that's going to say because they're not going to be happy. But in the event that you get a reduction, or even if you're not satisfied with your reduction or you didn't get any type of reduction, we are just step number 1. You can appeal with the Cook County Board of Review. They are step number 2. They are a different agency. They have different rules, but essentially you can appeal with them as well. If you get a decision from them and you're not satisfied with it, you can go to step number 3, which is the Property Tax and Appeal Board, PTAB. I can tell you right now, they're probably doing the appeals from 2018 right now. Yes. So let's not do that. So the assessor's office, free to appeal. Board of Review, free to appeal. PTAB, you have to drive to Springfield. Maybe that's free for you. I don't know. Get a hotel, depending on what time your hearing is. Maybe that's free for you. I don't know. And then you have to eat. You have to hang out. So, just letting you know, there are 3 different steps. Steps 1 and 2 are free. Next, Ms. Gale. So, when you start your appeal process, all you need is an email address. That's it. From here, you can start your appeal, you can save your appeal, you can edit your appeal, you can pause your appeal, you can do whatever you want. But the moment you submit your appeal, it is done. And again, your deadline was extended from June 26th until June 29th. Next, Ms. Gale. So how do you file an appeal? I'm going to walk you through that right now. CookCountyAssessor.com. You're going to click on the word appeal all the way at the top, and then you're going to scroll down next, Ms. Gale, to where it says residential appeal. Now, we do have different types of appeals. There's condo, there's commercial, there's industrial, there's vacant, there's residential. What we're going to talk about today is residential, because there's about 200 of you all, and about 199 of you all are residential. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So you would click on residential, next, Ms. Gail. And then from here, if you have appealed in the past, just log in. If this is your first time, you would just create a new login. Takes 30 seconds, right? Our office is going to send you a link. You click on the link, and you're brought back here to log in. My email is happytaxpayer@gmail.com. Go ahead and click next, and then you're going to be taken to available filings. Next, scroll all the way down, and you will find a list of the types of filings you can do. You want to click on residential. Next. From here, just begin filing. Next. Once you put in your PIN number, everything will auto-populate for you. I'm going to say that again, because this is the part where things get a little scary for some individuals. Once you put in your PIN number, which is provided to you, everything is auto-populated. You only have to fill in about 5 other things. That's it. So once you click search, your name will pop up. Go ahead, Ms. Gail. Click start filing. Next. And then when you're filing an appeal, wherever there is a check box, a red asterisk, or a star, you must complete that task. So we have 2 check boxes. You will check those and click next. This is going to auto-populate for you. Click next. This is for anyone who had a factual error. Are we good?
All this information will be on our YouTube channel because people are panicking and writing down, and our website.
So for everyone here who I'm talking too fast for, I apologize. All this information is going to be on YouTube, it's going to be on Facebook, and it's going to be on orlandpark.org. So you'll get to see my beautiful face up there again. And if you were mad now, hopefully you'll be in a better mood later. Listen, here is where things get a little fun. So if you had a factual error, you would let us know here. For example, your square footage has been incorrectly calculated for the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever that is, right? Maybe you had a fire and you never let us know because you were trying to, get your life back together. That's actually what happened to me. Or we've been assessing you incorrectly, right? That's the only reason you would touch this screen. Anything else, you can ignore here. So if that doesn't apply to you, you would just click next. That's it. Next. And then we just need to know, do you have any additional PIN numbers? So this is for anyone who has a prorated property. That just means you have multiple PIN numbers for the same property. You would know if you have a prorated property because instead of receiving 2 tax bills a year, you get 4, you get 6, you get 8, you get 10. So if you only receive 2 tax bills a year, you can ignore this as well. Scroll down and go to next. Next, Ms. Gail. Now, remember, wherever there is a red star or a red asterisk, you have to complete that task. So all you have to do is click and click taxpayer owner. Next, click. No, I'm sorry, Ms. Gail. I apologize. Go back. Click taxpayer owner. Click, and then, next, Ms. Gail. Once you click that hamburger menu, your name will populate here. Everything is auto-populated. Does that make sense? You guys haven't actually typed anything in yet except your PIN number. You would find your name and click next. Now, hold on. Here, it might look a little weird if you are not the only owner of your property. If you just bought your home or someone else owned it before you, you'll see other names there. You just have to find yours. That's it. Next. Now, this is the property characteristics page. You don't have to touch this either, unless you know for a fact your age of your home is incorrect. If the amount of stories you have are incorrect, the size of your garage is incorrect. If you know that for a fact, you would just edit it here. 9 times out of 10, you are going to leave this alone as well. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom and click next. This will all auto-populate for you. I have a question. Is this hard? We're not at church. Y'all can talk back. Is this hard? It might be a little scary, but is it difficult to do? No, right? You've only typed twice so far. You put in your PIN number, and then you might have had to put in your PIN number again depending on the situation if you had additional PINs or not. But right now, we've only typed one time so far. We're about to type some more right here, though. So now we need to know, what do you believe your property is worth? That's where that red arrow is. So the median, I don't remember off the top of my head what the median was, but if you disagree, guys, there's no way. My house is only worth $300,000. Is that a good price out here? Is that fair? That's low? Listen, I don't want to fight. I'm trying to get a good example, right? So I'm going to say 320. Is that? Wow, tough crowd. Let's go. 320. So if that's what you believe your property is worth, then go ahead and write it. And now we go over the actual reasons why someone would appeal. We already talked about 3 of them. I'm going to go over the rest of them right now. So we have vacancy occupancy. That means you have an empty property, right? That means you tried to renovate it, you tried to sell it, you tried to rent it. Whatever the situation was, you have an empty property. Please note, if you choose this option, you will have to provide proof. What is proof of an empty property? Pictures. Very simple. You just take out your cell phone, take pictures, and you can upload them. I will show you how to do that in a second. Next is building is not next for me, not for you. Building is uninhabitable. That means you physically cannot live there. It doesn't mean my husband still lives there. It doesn't mean that my wallpaper is ugly. It doesn't mean that my kitchen is too small, right? It means you physically cannot live there. We also have fire damage. That's self-explanatory. And we also have building no longer exists. That is self-explanatory. You can check more than one option. In 2011, somebody actually arsoned my home. So I checked all of these because they all applied. So you definitely want to make sure you click on the reason for your appeal that applies to your property. Even if it's all of them, you want to make sure you do that. But whatever reason you choose, you have to provide an explanation why. So for this example, I chose overvaluation, and I wrote, I don't even know what I wrote. What did I write? Value is too high, right? If this was a real appeal, I would have said value is too high based on the data or something like that, right? So next, and then we just need to know, what kind of property do you have? Do you have a single family home? Do you have a building with 6 apartments or less? Do you have a mixed use? Mixed use would be some type of business on the first floor and then the residential on the second floor. Do you have a townhouse or a duplex? Only you know the answer to this question. Next. Keep in mind, we've only typed twice so far, maybe 3, depending on your situation. Now, here's where everyone gets excited. Comparables. Our office does not need you to provide comparables to us. If you are appealing, we are under the understanding that you don't agree with the value we gave you. So our analysts are going to go in and find comparables for you to lower your value. However, we understand that you might want to give us that information on your own. So there are 3 ways you can do this. Well, 4 ways. First one, do you guys see on the screen right now those fields on the right-hand side? Those are all auto-populated from your reassessment notice. Remember I told you that data meant something? That's all auto-populated for you. You don't have to fill any of that out. You would just scroll all the way down and click on Find Comparables, and then find the ones that you believe kind of make your argument worth arguing. However, we understand that some taxpayers might have a specific property they want our office to look at. Well, that's what that bottom portion is for, where it says Custom Additional Search Criteria. You can literally give us the address or the PIN number to the person across the street. I'm just using an example, right? The guy across the street, I know for a fact, has the same house as me because I've been in there, right? If that is the case, you go ahead and give us that one. The third way you can do this is to go to your local township and ask to use the AIM program, A-I-M, AIM program. This will find you comparables literally within 20 seconds. However, you just have to choose the one you believe best fits your specific situation. The fourth way to do this, I'm going to show you in a little bit because it's not here right now. Next, Ms. Gale. So assuming you found pins for you, you would find them and then click Add Selected Parcels. Parcels, just another name for pin. Next, Ms. Gale. Once you do that, you're going to get a comparison screen. It's going to show you the comparables you used. It's just a way for you to double check your work. Just letting you know, hey, this is the one you picked. Is this correct? Is this the one you want to use? If the answer is no, you click the previous button. If the answer is yes, you just click next. Next, Ms. Gale. Now, here is the fourth way to upload or give us your comparables. Some people actually drive around still and look at properties and write those addresses down. If that is you, you can totally do that. Can I borrow this for 2 seconds? Just for 2 seconds. Oh, no, I can't. Here, right here. There's people who literally still drive around. I'm not going to lose it. And just write PIN numbers down on a piece of paper. You can totally still do this as well. And all you would have to do to upload this is take a picture of it on your cell phone. That's it. And you would upload it where it says upload. Very simple, right? Next. Oh, sorry, go back one. Here you can also upload pictures. You can upload appraisals. You can upload sales analysis. You can upload plat of surveys. You can upload literally anything you want to submit that you believe would make your argument better, right? Next. Here, you would type in your name and your phone number. Ladies and gentlemen, up to this point, you've only typed 4 times. Everything is auto-populated for you. Our office has taken a lot of time and gone to great measures to try to make appealing easier for you. How many of you all, and I don't want to start a fight, I'm just asking a question. How many of you all have received letters from tax attorneys saying that they could do this for you? Yes. Right? Swindle Brothers and Barlam and Baileys, and for 30% for the next 3 years, we can do this for you, right? 20%. Listen, I just did it for you. You just did it yourself, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't use an attorney, but you don't have to with the Cook County Assessor's Office. We want to make this clear. This is free for you all. This is not something you have to pay for. This is not something that if you get stuck, you are by yourself. You can call us. You can contact us through social media, through phone, through email, and we will guide you through this. This is our job. This is what we are here to do. Most people hire attorneys because they don't know how to do something or because they don't want to do something. But I just showed you how to do it, so I just want to make that clear. Now you would click submit, but hold on. Up until this point, you can stop your appeal, edit your appeal, change your appeal, close your appeal, delete your appeal, whatever you want. But the moment you click submit, next, Ms. Gale, you're going to get a giant, are you sure you want to submit this filing? Even up until this point, you can edit, change, stop, delete, whatever you want. But the moment you click yes, you're going to get a giant confirmation page. Next. And it's going to say, thank you. Your request has been submitted. Confirmation right at the top, right? And then you're going to get a filing ID number. Write this number down. Take a screenshot of this number. Tattoo it on yourself. Whatever you need to do to not lose this number, because this is how you're going to communicate about your specific appeal with our office. You're going to call and say, hey, did my appeal go through yet? We're going to say, what's your filing number? You're going to say, I don't know. And then we have to do this the long way. So if you have your filing number, it takes 20 seconds to figure out where your appeal is in the process. Next, you can go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com, to figure out, or look at, I should say, your exemption history, your appeal history, your assessment history, read about reassessments. And guys, for those of you all listening to my voice right now, I have done maybe 100 of these. They are all online right now. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, cookcountyassessor.com, click the video, and look for my face. Except I was 100 pounds heavier and my hair was up to here. So I'll look a little different, but it's really me. I'm the only one doing this, only guy, I should say, doing this. So if you're scrambling right now, please don't. I don't want you to feel any type of extra pressure that you don't need to feel. Next. Now, earlier we had some questions about exemptions. We don't normally cover exemptions during appeals, but we had enough questions earlier that I kind of want to go over them very quickly. So we have 8 exemptions that our office offers. Ms. Gale, can you click next, please? Click next like 5 times. Again. Right there. The ones in yellow, homeowner exemption, senior citizen exemption, and the person with disability exemption are automatically renewed going forward. So if you received any of those this year, you don't have to apply for them again unless there is a deed change. Because that tells us something happened, we need to figure this out. Can you click next 1, 2, 3, 4 more times? Dang, one more, I was close. Now, the ones in yellow, veterans with disability exemption and the home improvement exemption, these are automatically renewed as well, but with special stipulations. For veterans with disability exemption, if we have any veterans in the room, you know you get a disability letter. It has your eligibility rate. If on that letter it says you are permanently disabled, you no longer have to apply again. And the home improvement exemption, this is a little different because you don't actually apply for it at all. It's if you pull permits, our office is notified, and then you are enrolled in that program automatically. So that's why special stipulations. Next. Here's what your tax bill looks like. You get a blue one when it's cold outside, and you get a yellow one when it's warm outside. The blue one is 55% of the previous year's total tax bill. The second one has nothing to do with the first one. They don't equal 100. Please do not make that assumption. However, the second one does have your discounts on it. Bottom left-hand corner where it says tax calculator, that is where your homeowner is listed, senior citizen is listed, senior freeze, disabled person, all of them are listed right there if you did in fact qualify and receive them. Next. Here is what a confirmation page would look like if you applied online. Who was that asking me earlier? Shoot. Okay, yes. So this is what your confirmation page would look like online. Next. Here's what your confirmation email would look like. You'll get the confirmation page immediately. You'll get the email within 48 hours. I'm sorry, it's not as fast as the confirmation page. Next. If you want to contact us directly, you can at 312-443-7550. You can connect with us on social media. We are on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how tech savvy you are, but I promise you, if you want your question answered immediately, just contact us on social media. We are all on it all day. So you send us a DM, you send us a message on there, you will get an answer really quick. If you want to make an in-person appointment, you can do that as well. You can do that at the downtown location, 118 North Clark. You can do it at the Markham Courthouse location, 16501 South Kedzie. You can do it at the Skokie Courthouse, 5600 West Old Orchard Road, room 149. Or you could do it at the newly renovated and reopened Bridgeview Courthouse location, 10220 South 76th Avenue, room 205. That's up the escalator to the left. Now, I do want to show you guys something. I had a cell phone somewhere. I don't know where it went. But, okay, if you guys were to open up your camera app on your phone, and you were to hover over that QR code and click it, it would take you to our Linktree account. Don't take a picture, just hover over the QR code. From this Linktree account, you can do literally everything we just talked about. You can file an exemption, you can file an appeal, you can make an appointment, you can schedule things, you can sign up for our newsletter. Please take advantage of this. Almost everybody has a cell phone. We're trying to make life easier for everybody, guys. Next, Ms. Gale. All right, presentation is done, and because we had technical difficulties, it took me 31 minutes. I was trying to get it to 20, but I apologize. Now, here is my favorite part of the night. We're going to do a Q&A portion. I have 3 rules. Rule number 1, be nice. Okay? If someone is asking a question and you're frustrated because your hand is up, listen, be nice. All right? Rule number 2, I'm going to repeat the question. You don't have to scream out. You don't have to yell out. I'm going to repeat the question. And rule number 3 is, again, I just work here, okay? Your frustration is not with me. I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm not an analyst. I didn't calculate anything, all right? I'm just the guy who stands in front of people and try to make them understand what they're frustrated about, all right? So I'm going to take a 30-second vocal break, drink some water, and then we're going to jump right into the Q&A. Cool? Yep. Yes? Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Is there somebody out there? Beautiful. Perfect.
Start back up with Q&A, give your name and title again.
Absolutely.
People out there asking.
Absolutely.
All I know you as a secretary.
Yeah, I don't even know what my title is, so I'll figure it out.
Just say of the kind.
Yeah, no problem.
If they can raise their hand, so I can give this microphone.
So there's actually a way that I like to do it. I like to go, do you have a question? No.
Repeat the question.
Do you have a question? No. Do you have a question? No. Do you have a question? No.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and 1 question per person because we have 200 people. Yeah.
We can't do it out there, so we'll just do pick and choose out there.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is this on? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your understanding. I appreciate it. Here's how the Q&A is going to go. Somebody from the township, village. Someone from the village. I'm just so used to saying township, guys. I apologize. Someone from the village is going to come up to you and say, do you have a question? Yes or no. You get 1 question because there are 200 people. So make sure your question is good. And then we're going to go from the inside to the overflow room. From the inside to the overflow room. That's how we're going to do it so that it is fair. All right? So.
My question is, does it matter if you send it in just regular mail, or should we just really go for email? Is there a preference? Does it expedite any sooner if you do it?
Let's go. Great question. But you asked me to say who I was. My name is Hector Dominguez. I am from the Cook County Assessor's Office. My title, as of yesterday, was Community Outreach Liaison or Specialist. You guys decide, whatever you want me to be. The question was, is there a preference for filing your appeal? That is an excellent question. So here's what you have to think about. If you were to mail in your appeal, you have to hope it goes from your mailbox to the mailman, from the mailman to the post office, from the post office to downtown, from downtown to an opener, and an opener to actually opening it. There's no way to track that until it is open. If you appeal online, you get that filing number, and you will know immediately within 24 hours, 48 hours, to know where your appeal actually is in the process. I can tell you, your guys' deadline is the 29th, so we'll say July, August, September, October, November, December. So you guys should know something between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? And this appeal will affect your second installment next year, your 2023 second installment. So, great question. Good job. 10 points. And then we have a question out there. We're going to do inside out, inside out.
Okay, do you have to provide documentation if they have the age of your house wrong?
Great question. If the age on your property is incorrect and you want to change it, you should have some type of documentation to prove that, versus it being your word against our word. But if you actually have like a blueprint or a plat of survey or something saying, hey, this house was built in 1932, I don't know, I'm just making up a number, that will better your argument versus, hey guys, the age is wrong. So do you need it? No. Should you have it? Probably. Hope that answers your question.
When you're filing your appeal, can you combine things like what was the last question? The age of your residence is wrong and you're providing documentation, and also your property you feel is being over-evaluated. So you can do that all in the same appeal. You don't have to separate them.
Excellent question, and I should have tackled that a little bit harder. So the question was, can you compound your reasons for appealing? Can you stack them up? Absolutely. You can choose overvaluation, lack of uniformity, property description error, fire damage, whatever applies to you, you absolutely can. Just know that whatever you do choose or however you choose to appeal, you will have to prove it. So if you are saying your age is wrong, prove it. If you are saying that your square footage is wrong, prove it. For example, when I had my fire, I did police reports, fire reports, pictures, incident reports, insurance claims. I did everything because I wanted them to know, hey, I don't even live here anymore, guys. Next.
You mentioned single-family residences. I live in a condo. How different is the appeal process for a condo?
Excellent question. Yours is a lot easier. So for condos, where can they see the screen from out there? All right, Ms. Gail, can you go back, please, to I don't know. I'll just tell you when to stop. Keep going. You can go fast. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, my gosh. Keep going. You got it. I believe in you, Ms. Gail. Let's go. Keep going. We're almost there. Let's give Ms. Gail a round of applause, y'all, because it ain't easy following me. I'll let you know that right now. Next. Keep going. You almost there? We're almost. Stop. So available filings, you would click on condo assessment. And from there, you will go through the exact same steps we took, except there are 3 pages you won't even see because they don't pertain to condos. So your condo appeal is a lot faster and shorter. Hope that helps.
Ready?
Yes.
Is there a difference between the condo appeal and a townhouse appeal?
Great question. Is there a difference between a townhouse and condo appeal? Yeah, no, I do too. So the type of property is irrelevant. It's what does your PIN number end in? Residential property ends in 4 zeros. If you have a condo, it ends in something else, 1347, 2468, whatever that is. If your PIN number ends in 4 zeros, it's a residential appeal every single time. If it ends in anything other than 4 zeros, then you absolutely want to file a condo appeal. Next.
When you use the automated search for comps, a lot of times the comp used or found does not have the accurate info such as size, lot size, recent sale, age. Sometimes age is not even listed. Is it acceptable to upload a comparable retrieved from the local multiple listing service?
Excellent question. I'm going to give you 2 answers. I know you asked 1 question, but it deserves 2. So very quickly, you all have what's called a property class. I'm making these up. Well, these are real, but I don't know if they pertain to you. Sometimes you get a 212, sometimes you get a 234, sometimes you get a 278. Long story short, your property class encompasses all of that. It encompasses the age, the square footage, the lot size, the construction type, all of that. It encompasses all of that. So when you are using the comparables generated from our system, you can use any of those because they are automatically included in your property class, if that makes sense. They're a part of the pool you can use. So it doesn't matter if your square footage is, I'm going to say 1,200, and you find one that's 1,400. It's irrelevant because you're in the same property class. That's answer number 1. Answer number 2 is you can absolutely upload your own set of comparables on the section where it asks you to upload documentation. So you would just have to have a digital version of whatever you have. That's all. And you can do that by taking a picture. Next.
Can we apply for a senior exemption at the same time as an assessment appeal? And what is the difference between a senior exemption and a senior freeze?
Let's go. The hard questions. I love them. Literally. So exemptions and appeals are different. So you can apply for an exemption and it has nothing to do with your appeal. That's something totally different, right? Now, a senior citizen exemption is for anyone who was born in 1957 or before and owned and occupied the property within that taxable year. So we're going to use this year as an example. For the bill that's coming up, if you owned and occupied at any time in 2022, and you were born in 1957 or before, you get the exemption. Easy peasy, no problem. Senior freeze is a little bit different. You must have owned and occupied that property for 2 consecutive January 1s. So that means January 1, 2021, and January 1, 2022. And your income cannot be greater than $65,000 as a total household income. So there are different requirements, but you can absolutely receive both of them as long as they qualify. And somebody passed this to me, so I'm gonna give it to you, and then, yeah. Hope that helps.
I have a primary residence that I want to appeal the taxes on, and I also own a condo that I rent out, but it's empty right now, and I'm planning to sell it in the future. Can they be listed on the same website?
Great question. You can appeal any property that you own as long as that township is open for you to appeal. However, each property must have its own individual appeal. Excellent question. Guys, when I tell you that I love Q&A, I'm not lying. You know how people say things like that to like, no, I love it. So let's keep it going.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the first question. You know, I know you said that it's better to electronic.
Yes.
Does that ever take the human aspect out of it? You know, is a computer going to decide?
Excellent question.
Or is there going to be a human
Yeah.
making the decision?
Good question. So the question was, if you appeal electronically, digitally, online, is there a human on the end of that, or is it another computer? No, it's absolutely a human. They take it, and the analysts are flesh and blood like us, right? There is no AI back there getting his Terminator on, right? It's another human, that's their 9 to 5. Great question, though. It's the first time I've ever been asked that. I love it. Let's go. Next question.
Could you please explain the disability exemption?
Absolutely. So the disabled persons exemption is for anyone who was disabled in the taxable year. So for the bill you're about to receive, it should have been 2022, January 1, 2022. And the way you receive that exemption is you can go online, print everything. Actually, you should do it this way. I don't normally say things like that, but you should do it this way. You should download everything from online. You're going to need a P-tax form. It's on our website under additional documentation for the disabled persons exemption. You take that to your physician or your optometrist, depending on what your disability is. They fill it out on your behalf. You submit that back into our office, and then we give you the discount. Our office has zero authority to tell you if you are disabled or not. That no one here is a doctor. So you fill that out, you send it back in, and we take care of it.
Okay, you had said earlier something about the property values in that. Now, do you go by a random, or how do you pick out? Because I know mine doubled, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So so I just appeal? Is that all I do?
So you're kind of asking multiple questions. Let me break it down. No, listen. Gigi, we're friends. Well, actually, we're not. There's cameras. No, we're not. We don't know each other. I don't want any trouble. You were just very nice to me, so I appreciate it. Listen, the way this works is property values are brought together, or the way your property value is concluded is a mass appraisal system, right? They go and they say, other properties similar to yours that sold at market value averaged out at this amount, right? If you disagree, which is obviously you do because you're here, you're saying, no way. There's no way. That's why you're appealing. You're saying, hey, somebody made a mistake and we got to figure it out. So you would file your appeal, and in the event that you are correct, you'll get a reduction. If you're not, then you can go to the Cook County Board of Review and appeal through them. And if you get a reduction through them, they can say no if we said, they can still say yes if we said no.
If you lived in your house, I've been in my house 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden they want to tell me it's worth a lot more.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I appreciate you being nice to me, though.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Oh, thanks. Next.
My son is 16 and became disabled this year. Does that qualify? And where's that form that I would need?
Great question. I want to, say I'm sorry for your situation. Unfortunately, the only way to receive the disabled persons exemption is if the person who is disabled was on the deed of the property as of January 1 of 2022. But that information can be found at cookcountyassessor.com, and then once that page loads up, you would click the word exemption. You'll get a list of our exemptions and just click on disabled persons exemption.
Yeah, I went online to appeal. I got as far as where I put in my PIN number and my address, and then it told me my address was wrong.
So you put in your PIN number and it said your address was wrong?
It asked, the screen said PIN number and address.
So you don't have to do both.
Oh, just one?
Yeah, so what happened was you did both and it kind of glitched out. All you need is your PIN number or your address. Great question.
Because it doesn't say that.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Thank you.
Next.
When using comparables, is there a distance or an age difference that would disqualify it as a comparable?
Great question. So if you are appealing online and you use the find comparable function on our website, every comparable there you can use. It's within your neighborhood code, it's within your property class, it's within your square footage. All of that is done for you automatically. If you are walking around or driving around trying to find it on your own, you definitely want to stay within your own neighborhood code. You want to find the same property, a property similar that has the same construction type. You want to make sure it's the same kind of home as yours. So if you're doing it on your own outside, you want to make sure you're comparing apples to apples, right? Don't pick something from, I don't know, Tinley, and then go to Orland and try to find a comparable. That's not going to work. That's why we suggest taxpayers use our online appeal tool, because once you put in your PIN number, all of that is auto-populated for you, and you just have to scroll through them and find the one you believe is best for you.
What was the name of that automated one again?
It's on our website, cookcountyassessor.com is what we just walked through. Yeah, so on our website, on our website, once you go through the appeal process, there is a page for comparables. Okay. You would just click Find Comparables, and it will pop up for you. Sorry. We'll go back out there because we just took one in here. Yeah, back outside, guys.
I know you touched on lawyers, but I've actually gotten 6 letters, and they claim that they can save me almost $2,000. Now, what do they know that we don't know?
So, I'm going to go on break in like 2, and 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm on break, so I can say whatever I want now. Here's the reality. There is no such thing as a code, a key term, special consideration. I don't know how much you guys have been watching the news. However, Fritz Kagi has 0 tolerance for people who think they can finesse the system. That's all I can say at this time, even on my break, right? But there is no such thing as, hey, I have a connection downtown, or hey, I know how to, whatever terminology you want to use there. It doesn't exist, guys. Fritz Kagi came in, cleaned house, and that doesn't exist. So if you are getting someone that says, I know for a fact I can get $2,000 off your assessed value, the question I would ask is, how? How do you know you'll get a 2,000 reduction in EAV? In assessed value. How? And let's do that math. If you get I'm going to get mad now. So if we do a 2,000 reduction, let's do that math. 2,000 at what, 20% is what, $400 for the next 3 years? You just paid them $800, $1,200. You just paid them $1,200 to save you $2,000. Listen, I'm not that good at math, but that math ain't mathing, right? So I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just letting you know what they're going to charge you to do. I just showed you how to do it for free. And you can contact your township assessor's office and do it there for free. Or you can go to one of the 4 Cook County Assessor branches and do it there for free. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do I want to pay someone to do this, or do I want to try it on my own? If you fail, you failed for free. If you fail with a lawyer, they charged you. If you win, you won for free. And if you win with a lawyer, they charged you. Either way, the assessor's office is free, but look at the time. I'm back on the clock, so. Listen, I'm the oldest of four.
Excuse me. I have a three question about the senior living. My mom is living with me and she's 65 years old. Can I add her to the deed or to the title and get the senior exemption? The second thing, earlier when you was talking, you said we can do either lack of uniformity or over valuation. Can I do both or just one of it? And the last thing, when I do the comparable thing, what is the parameter frame limit? Like my house is a 3,000, for example, 3,000 square foot. Can I compare to 2,800 square feet? What's the age limit?
Okay, I got it. So very quickly, one, it was definitely the inside's turn to ask a question, and I don't want to fight with nobody, so let's keep that going. Two, you asked three questions, but I can answer them very quickly. One, you can, if your mother was born in 1957 or before, and you add her to your deed of the property, and she doesn't live anywhere else, isn't receiving any discounts anywhere else, you can absolutely take advantage of that senior citizen exemption because she is, in fact, the owner of the property. You can also, on your appeal, go ahead and check off multiple reasons why you are appealing, as long as you can prove why you chose multiple reasons. So if you're going to choose overvaluation, you have to prove it. If you're going to choose lack of uniformity, you have to prove it. And I believe those were the questions. Thank you.
For appeal for factual error for the square footage, we were planning on attaching the plans to the house. The problem that I heard, and maybe you can clarify this, our house is 34 years old. Somebody said we were denied because the plans to the house were 34 years old. Is that true?
I don't even know what that means. If you have the blueprint or the plat of survey or anything for your property, it's irrelevant how old that is, as long as it's accurate, right? Like for example, you don't have a house that was I don't know, made in 1932 and then tore down but left one wall up and then rebuilt around it, and then, you know? So if you are going to appeal based on incorrect square footage, you absolutely want a plat of survey, or the closing documentation usually has that in it. But just know that whatever you're uploading, there's a specific size, amount of megabytes for that. So you just have to plan that out correctly, that's all. So you can absolutely upload anything you want. People upload pictures of napkins with themselves writing, "I don't agree because of this." So I'm sorry that someone told you that.
When we look at your comparables on your website tomorrow, will we see the new assessments or the old assessments for those properties?
Great question. You will see current values of those homes. I don't know what that means. They're not accurate. They're current. So everyone's value what it is. Well, that opens up a different conversation. So properties are, again, the value of a property comes from a mass appraisal system. So whatever those properties sold at, averaged out, that's what the value of the home is. Now, the argument can be made, well, that's not what it's worth. Maybe. But that's how much people are willing to spend on it, so that is what the value is. So someone filing an appeal would have to say, actually, I don't think the value of this home is this, and here are the reasons why. That's why we're all here today. But the values on our website are up to date, I should say. And if you are, for example, someone was here earlier filling one out, and she believed her property was worth $320,000. So she went on our website. She filed the appeal, went on our website, filed the appeal, looked for comparables, and she found a lot of them that were 350, 340, but then she found a few of them that were 320, 325, and those are the ones that she used. So when you are finding comparables, you want to find the ones that strengthen your argument. So just understand that, so when you are trying to tell us what you believe your property is worth, you kind of have to back it up. That's why we're saying, whatever reason you choose, you have to be able to explain it. So I hope that that helps that.
Good evening. What is the process of accessing the AIM software through the township for comparables?
Great question. To use the AIM program, you just have to contact your township assessor's office. I don't know if you have to set up an appointment or not, or if they accept walk-ins. Each township is different, and that's it. Hey, can you help me with the AIM program? Yes or no? Very simple.
I have a condo. Is it better to file as an association or singly? Because we're filing as an association.
Interesting question. So if you have a condo, is it best for you to appeal with your condo association or by yourself? Here is the truth. It depends. Right? Here's why. If you have, okay, so condos are assessed differently than residential property, right? Homes are assessed at 100%, right? Or not 100%, for the 100% of the property. Condos are not. Condos are assessed at percentage of ownership. So everybody's property unit might be the same size, but they may have been distributed different percentages of ownership when it was developed. And that's why the values are fluctuating sometimes the way they do. So this is what I tell folks. If you have 4 units, apply on your own. It does appeal on your own. 100 divided by 4 is easy math. Now, if you got 52 units, 73 units, you probably already are paying an attorney for a retainer already. And that is probably the only time I'll say you might want to use the attorney, because if you have that many units, that means you also have common area probably, shared area probably. Yeah, like it's for condos with a lot of units, the math's a lot different. So again, I can't tell you what to do. That's against the law. However, if you are, and what makes more sense? 50 units, one person complaining, or 50 units, everybody complaining, right? So hope that helps.
Here, because we're a little behind.
Okay.
If I go through this process and I'm not satisfied with the outcome, can I still go with an attorney? Or am I past some sort of deadline and I really have to choose now whether to do this on my own or to go with an attorney?
Great question. So if you appeal with our office and you're not satisfied with the response you get, you can contact the Cook County Board of Review and appeal through them. Can you use an attorney with them? Absolutely. Do you need to? No. Same different agency, but same type of vibe, right? But you absolutely can. Next.
Question has to do with the homeowner's exemption. I've had it for about 30 years, but we just went through a living trust. I understand that I have to reapply. How would I do that?
Great question. There are 2 ways to do it. You can do it online, but I would encourage you to actually do it in person, because you're going to have to provide your trust documentation and show that you are, well, I'm assuming you are one of the trustees, and you're going to have to prove all of that. That is a lot of documentation to upload onto the website. I'm just being honest. It would be much easier for you to do it in person one time and never have to worry about it again.
We moved into a new construction 4-unit townhome.
Hold on, because we have a follow-up question in here from the question that just came from out back.
I just want to get clarification on that, because I tried to submit my documentation last week, and my property is in a trust. So instead of filing as a taxpayer, I selected from that drop-down list that it was a trust.
Yeah.
And I was told, and all of my documentation was submitted by my attorney at the time we set it up in trust, and it was refusing to allow me to submit without documentation. And I called, and they said I only needed 3 pieces. I needed the name of the trust, the one that listed the trustees, and the signature pages. So if we're filing as a trust, is it the full trust documentation, like all 72 pages, or just the 3?
Great question. So let me rephrase. I was the student in class that gave the teacher everything. How many pages? Here's all 10. I'm not going to go through it and make the mistake of giving you the wrong piece of paper, hoping that you're nice to me, you let me know, and then fix it for me. So I tell taxpayers, give it to the people at the front desk, let them pull the pages out that they need specifically, make the copies, and give it back to you so that you have it.
But they've already got all
No, yeah.
and they're still telling me I still have to submit.
Well, then you might have a unique situation. So I would encourage you to contact our office directly.
I did, and that's
Well, then see me when we're done, and I'll give you, well, no, that's wrong. See me when we're done, and I will help you get a answer that you need. No problem. Okay, now we have a question out there.
Yes, we moved into a new construction 4-unit townhome in August of 2021. We still don't have our own PIN number and have not received a tax bill since then.
Okay, listen to me clearly. This is exactly what happened to me when I bought my townhome. When townhomes are constructed, new construction specifically, all of your townhomes are put under the exact same PIN number. So you have one PIN number for all 4 units. That is terrible. You want to do what's called a division. You want to contact our office and file a division. I believe the deadline is typically November or September. I'm not sure. But either way, you're ahead of schedule right now. So you would contact our office, file for that. Once you file for that, you want to also try to identify which tax bill is yours by using our pay by legal system, which is what you would do downtown. I know you probably don't want to, but I would highly encourage you to make a trip to 118 North Clark, room 320, and get that done immediately, because I did not, and I was back taxed a lot because I didn't pay my full bill because I just tried to figure out the math of the giant bill, and I had I had money left over that I was supposed to pay, and I did not. So I don't want you to go through that. It sucks. So 118 North Clark, room 320, that's what you should do. But you can do whatever you want.
Does the AIM program that you're talking about give us more information than we can find ourselves? And if so, what does it give you?
Great question. Does it give you more information? I don't think so, because I've played with both. But it is a lot easier for you as a taxpayer to use, because you actually have the township assessor walking you through it. And if you had any questions, they could answer them for you because they're right there with you. Versus you doing it on your own, you might have a question, but then you don't know, and then you pick the wrong comparable. So I like the AIM program. We don't have access to it. I wish we did, but your township assessors do. Question outside?
I have a question on the comparables. When it shows warranty or trustees, and what does that mean in the one column over on the right side?
Can you repeat that one more time? I missed kind of the first part.
Okay, when you look at the comparables online, some of the houses will have a column that says warranty or trustee. What does that mean? Can you use that as a comparable?
Absolutely, great question. Yes, you can. That's just letting you know what the house is under. So typically it should be taxpayer owner, so it would say Hector Dominguez. But if my property's in a trust, it'll say that. If my property's in a warranty deed, it'll say that. If my property's under, actually LLC, I don't think will pop up. But it's just letting you know what the property's under, that's all. That doesn't really mean anything.
I have a follow-on question to the comparables. So everybody in the neighborhood went up. So the comparables all went up, as the gentleman said before. Is it then more effective to do just a straight-out over-evaluation and state your case as to why my property against all the other properties should not be at that amount? Or do a double, which is the over-evaluation, and find other comparables that are maybe farther outside of my neighborhood that maybe also place that argument more effectively?
Great question. So neighborhood and neighborhood code are two different things. So neighborhood code can be 2 blocks, 5 blocks, 8 blocks. It just depends on how your township was structured. That's why if you go to cookcountyassessor.com, click on data, find your township, and then find your neighborhood code, you'll see the properties that are actually in your neighborhood code, which is different from your block or 2 blocks from you. I would encourage you to do that first, because then all of those you can use as long as it's in your neighborhood code and your same property class, because everything else falls underneath that. That's what I would do. But in the event that you do that and it's not effective for you, you can absolutely appeal because of overvaluation, lack of uniformity. I think you guys are crazy. I think this value came out of nowhere. Please prove. Like, you can do whatever you want. Yep. CookCountyAssessor.com. And then there's a data tab right at the very top. Once you click on data, your specific townships are in a list. You just have to find yours. That's all. Orland. Click on Orland. Scroll down a little bit, and then you'll see like the diagrams that we were just showing earlier in the presentation. Find your specific neighborhood code. Your township, can I see yours very quickly? Yeah, perfect. So Gigi's township was 30. What is your name? Edith, hers is 36. So there are different neighborhood codes within these townships, and they're all different sizes. So you just have to find your neighborhood code and then look at the properties in there. Yeah, neighborhood is that you want to use the words neighborhood code. That's what you want to look at. Your neighborhood code. On our website, you might see the word neighborhood. It means neighborhood code. But when she was using it, I want to make sure it wasn't my block or the 2 blocks around me. Like, those are 2 different things. Question outside?
I know my home is not worth what the assessment says. I wouldn't pay it. And we've been looking at homes like with my son, and so I have a good idea. But is there any value to having like a real estate appraise our home, or does the assessor's office not care what someone appraises it as?
First of all, we care about everyone. We are fair, we are ethical, and we are transparent. That is our motto. However, to your point, you can absolutely have an appraisal. I personally, this is my opinion, this is not a statute, this is not legislation, this is my opinion. I personally would not have an appraisal older than about 18 months because those values are irrelevant now. You were just reassessed. But if you got an appraisal and homes were selling 6 months ago for lower than what we said your value is worth now, I would absolutely use that. But again, that's not legal counsel because there's people recording. That is just my opinion.
I plan on using one comparable at the end of my block, and I've already looked at the assessed valuation online, and I know he's considerably lower than I am. He just purchased the house approximately 1 year ago. The house was not in good condition, and his appraisal has come in really low. Is that going to be a valid comparable for me to use?
Listen, great question. Keep in mind, I'm not an analyst, okay? However, when you say, you don't have to answer, just in your brain, when you say it came a lot lower than everybody else's, I would try to figure out how much lower than everybody else's. If it's astronomically different, I would not use that. Because what you don't want to use, I'm not saying this is his situation, you don't want to use foreclosures. You don't want to use hand-to-hand transactions. You don't want to use like properties that were abandoned, right? You don't want to use those because those were not purchased at market value. Now, if this property was purchased at market value and it just so happened to be lower than everybody else, wherever that guy lives, that's the property I would use. So, but again, that's not legal counsel. No problem.
My neighbor just asked a question about the townhouse. The builder paid last year. We paid the builder paid. And I'm being told we can't get the homeowner's exemption because we didn't pay personally to the state.
Who told you that? Nope, I need a name. Rat them out. Who did it? Listen, it's very frustrating. The legislation says that if you have a new construction, which according to you all you did, you do get a homeowner's exemption. It's just prorated. So you won't get the full year amount, but you will get some amount. It just depends. Now, if your home was built on, December 29th, December 30th, December 31st, then, but You do get a prorated factor. It doesn't matter when it was built. You get a prorated factor as long as you guys owned and occupied it within the taxable year. So if it was new construction in 2022, you get it.
Yeah, it was built in 2020. We still don't have our individual PIN numbers, though.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You guys need to get a division ASAP. Literally. No. Go downtown, room 301, speak to Mark. I shouldn't have said that. Speak to someone at the desk, and that's what you want to do. Okay?
We received online.
Absolutely.
I have a senior freeze and a senior exemption, also homeowner's exemption. Will an appeal bring my taxes down? Can my taxes go up even though I have these exemptions?
Great question. Let's make people mad. You ready? Yes. So, the senior freeze exemption, listen to me closely, offsets increases in property value. That means the greater your property value increases, the greater your discount amount becomes, the lower your tax bill will be over time. Again, if you have a senior freeze and your value increases, so will your discount over time. And then your bill will be lowered over time. There are two schools of thought. There are people who believe that if you appeal and you have a senior freeze, it's still beneficial for you. Well, that depends. Do you plan on moving in the next 3, 4, 5 years? If the answer is yes, then yeah, it probably is more beneficial to you. But if you plan on staying there, and this is your forever home, there are people who are on the senior freeze right now from 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002. They have a zero tax bill. Because the longer you are on the senior freeze, the more beneficial it becomes. So I'm going to say that one more time. Because legally, I can't tell you not to appeal. That's against the law. If you are on the senior freeze and you plan on living here for the rest of your life, the senior freeze will eventually be better for you in the long run. But if you don't care, then go ahead and appeal.
Question is, how do you submit comparables in your neighborhood if you have a custom-built home and no similar properties to compare them to?
Great question. If you have a property that there are no comparables to, the moment you try to find comparables, you will get a pop-up that says your property is unique and there are no comparables available. I highly doubt that is what's happening here. So instead of looking at what my house looks like, look at your neighborhood code, look at your construction type, and look at your property classification. And that's what you want to focus on. Again, construction type. I don't know if I said that or not, but construction type.
The next question is, this woman says, my mom passed away last May. The house was put in my name in July. When she went to register online, her name was online, but the envelope from the Chicago Title Trust had her assessment and her name. So the names conflicted.
Yeah. Okay, so names. So first of all, my condolences, because that's horrible. But names are irrelevant. There's no legal bearing on the name. Some people don't want to change the name of a deceased loved one because they don't. Some people do because they don't want to look at it anymore. Regardless, it's irrelevant. But if you really want to change it, you would contact the Cook County Treasurer's Office, do a name change form. It takes about 48 hours for that to go into effect. Once it goes into effect there, it'll populate all of our systems, and then it'll change eventually with us.
How do you get a copy of your 3-year reassessment notice?
Your reassessment notice, I'm assuming? Yes, you can contact our office directly, send us a direct message, write us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Well, you can't write us on YouTube. LinkedIn, and we'll definitely get that out to you.
I'm 67 years old. I didn't know about the senior exemption. Can I still apply now?
Absolutely, and you're going to get a refund, probably for 2 years, probably. So you would file what's called a certificate of error. You'll go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com, click on exemption, and then once that tab opens up, click on certificate of error. Once that opens up, you would find senior citizen exemption and just fill it out based on your birthday. So if you are 67, you were probably born in 56. 56, yeah, probably born in 56, so that means you qualify for 2022 and for 2021.
Is Zillow an acceptable site for comparisons?
Listen, you can do whatever you want. I cannot tell you if that's acceptable or not, but if you look at it and you compare it to our system and you think it's comparable, then go right ahead.
For specific property comparables, what section can you add the PIN number or address to?
Say that one more time.
She wants to know which section online do you add the comparable PIN numbers?
So when you are appealing, you'll be taken to a comparable screen. That's where you would add all that information in.
How do you find the square footage to make sure it is correct?
So what you can do, there's different ways. You can look at your Plata survey, you can look at your closing documentation, you can look at what our office says you have, and then kind of put them up against each other, see if we're right or wrong. Or you can order a Plata survey and do that as well.
Do the amounts of exemptions also increase relative to the increase in real estate tax?
Great question. Your exemptions are calculated or based on the tax rate of your specific township. So if your township exemption increases, if your township tax rate increases, so will your exemptions. That's kind of how the balance or seesaw works. The senior freeze, the higher your value is, the greater your discount amount is going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I helped somebody 2 Mondays ago. They had a $8,000 senior freeze savings. And they were on the freeze for, I don't want to lie, but I think she said 10 years. Her bill was $1,000, like $1,300, $1,400. Plus $8,000, her bill should have been what? $9,000, right? So the longer you're on the senior freeze, the more beneficial it becomes over time.
This person says the picture of her home is incorrect on the Cook County Treasurer's site and looks more expensive than her home. She has notified them quite some time ago. Is the tax based in part on the picture that is located on the site?
Great question. Absolutely not. What your house looks like on the internet is irrelevant. It has no legal bearing at all. Fun fact, that is sent to us by a third party, Google, and Google sends it to us. We can't change it. All we can do is remove it. So we can't upload yours. We only upload things when it's received to us from Google.
This person is asking, did you say we did not have to provide comparisons?
Great question. You do not need to provide comparables. Our office will do that for you, except we understand that you might have a specific property or you want to provide your own, because I'm that way. I want to do my own work, make sure it gets done how I like it. So.
This person is asking if she can use recently sold comps from realtors with pics to show similarities to her home for value.
That person can use whatever they want to for their comparables. They would just have to upload it on our website.
What was the average percentage of increase in Orland Township, if you know?
Off the top of my head, I do not know, but that information is on our website, cookcountyassessor.com. Click on the word data, click on your specific township, and there is a breakdown of it on there.
Do you know what the maximum amount set by the state legislator for the long-term homeowners exemption is?
Great question. If I understand that question correctly, they want to know how much money they can save, right? So so the long-time exemption is similar to the senior freeze. So it offsets the increases kind of. So depending on what township you live in, there's a cap that once you reach that or exceed that, that's where your long-time savings is. So depending on where you live at, I don't know this area by heart, but where I am, anything greater than 10,000 in EAV, so not dollars, just EAV, whatever that difference is, that's where the long-time exemption comes in. That math is a little hard to do unless you know how to do it. So I would encourage anyone who has that kind of question to contact us directly, and then we can send you the math. We can show you your value is this, your EAV increase was this, here's why you qualified, or here's why you did not.
Can an appeal result in an increase to the assessed valuation?
Excellent question. Worst case scenario with an appeal is absolutely nothing happens and you're still mad next year. That's it. Unless we know for a fact that you have been fibbing, and if that is the case, for example, we had someone who kept filing vacant property appeals. Well, come to find out, they actually had a house on there, and they were back taxed with penalties and interest. So that's the only way, is if there's a lie. Yes.
For condos, is the value determined including the land?
Great question. For condos, because you guys are reassessed by percentage of ownership, I don't know if that person's in here or not, but if they are you in here? Because then what I'm about to show you is irrelevant. Okay, never mind. But for condos, you guys are condo buildings versus, I don't say versus, you're reassessed by other condo buildings. So it's not the units within your building, it's your building versus another building. That's how that value is calculated or reassessed.
Hi.
Hi.
If you have a senior freeze and you are reassessed, does that mean your tax figure does not go up from that point on ever?
Great question. The senior freeze, how do I say this? Okay, so everyone that's on the senior freeze has what's called a base year. That base year is what you are locked at. Anytime your equalized assessed value increases above that amount that was frozen at your base year, you get that. Yep, you get that as in savings instead of being taxed like I would. You get the difference in savings. So now, what happens? Does that not make sense? So that means, let's pretend your EAV is 10,000. We're using simple numbers. That's your frozen EAV. The very next year, your EAV jumps to 12,000. Well, there's a 2,000 difference in EAV. That times your tax rate is your savings. The very next year, let's do 3 years because you're reassessed, it jumps from 12 to 16. Well, that's still greater than the 10,000. So now you have a 6,000 EAV difference. That times the tax rate is your savings. The very next 3 years, it's reassessed again, and it keeps going greater and greater and greater. Whatever that difference is, that's what your savings amount times the tax rate is going to be. The only time that readjusts or rechanges is if your value decreases lower than what it was frozen at. That's why we tell people, if you have the senior freeze and you're going to be there for a long time, it may not be in your best interest to appeal. Because appeal says, I want you to lower my value. So,
Does disability include Social Security disability for exemption?
are they asking if they receive Social Security disability, do they qualify for the disabled persons also?
I believe so.
So we have no authority over that. I would assume yes, but they would actually have to have a P-tax form taken to their doctor, and then their doctor would tell us if they qualify or not. But yes, but they need the P-tax form.
So you were talking about the AIM program, that we would get help through the township to get
Yes.
to get into that program. I'm thinking between now and the 29th, they might be inundated with people that need to get in there. Is there any other way to get into AIM besides through the?
Negative. Great question. That is a township assessor, I don't want to say privilege, but like tool. It's a township assessor tool. Only the township assessors have access to it. But it's not nothing special. It's just a way for them to filter comparables for you and then sit there and answer any questions you might have. You can do the exact same thing on our website. It's just you won't have, no. It's the same kind of program, I should say. But you just won't have someone there to like answer the question you might have.
Could you go over the difference between lack of uniformity and overevaluation?
Absolutely. But first, I have a question. Do we have any more people out there? Because if we do, well, I'm saying there's a lot of seats. Well, not a lot, but there are seats in here if anyone wants to come in. The difference between overevaluation and lack of uniformity. Gigi and I live on the same block, house built by the same person, same size, same construction, same color, same everything. But for whatever reason, our values are different, which means my tax bill is probably greater than hers. I want to know why we're not uniform. That's lack of uniformity. Overvaluation just means there's no freaking way my house is worth this much. If my house was worth this much, I would sell it back to you right now. Here are the keys. Give it to the bank. I don't care. That's overvaluation. You can choose both if that is what you are trying to say. Yep. I can't tell you that, but you can choose whichever one you want.
For tax assessment purposes, does it make a difference between all brick masonry versus combined brick 1 1/4 and 3/4 stucco? Which one will have higher assessment tax-wise?
Listen, I'm not an analyst. However, a brick house is probably going to be worth more than a frame house or a stucco house.
And I know we've said this a couple times, but just for, how exactly do you access the AIM program?
So the AIM program, you would have to contact your township assessor's office. Sorry. And I'm not sure if you have to make an appointment or you can walk in. They're all different, but you have to set up something with them.
If you have a senior freeze exemption and your taxes assessed at the 2022 rate or value or 2023 value?
Great question. Can I? No, I cannot. I wish I could do this. I would love to do the math for you guys. I would love it. I actually enjoy doing this a lot. But senior freeze offsets increases. If you apply for the senior freeze, the first year you apply, that is considered your base year. Whatever that equalized assessed value is for your base year, that is what your EAV is frozen at. Anytime your EAV is increased above that, instead of being taxed on it, you get that in savings, times the tax rate. Anytime your EAV is reduced lower than what it was originally frozen at, then it gets readjusted. So I hope that helps.
This person says they bought a house in Orland Park in 21. The previous owners had a senior exemption. They are also seniors. Do they qualify for the senior freeze of the previous owners, or are we governed by the new property tax assessment?
No, great question. So you would have to own and occupy for 2 consecutive January 1s in order to get the senior freeze. So if you did not own it for 2 consecutive January 1s, that's January 1, 2021 and January 1, 2022, you do not qualify.
I am getting conflicting info on filing an appeal while I have a senior freeze in place. If I do not file an appeal, will my assessment stay at least at last year's EAV?
Oh, that's an excellent question. The answer is no. So the senior freeze doesn't freeze your value. It sets up a base year for your equalized assessed value for whatever year you first filed your senior freeze. Anytime that EAV increases above what was frozen, you get that in savings times the tax rate. An appeal says, I want you to lower my value. If you appeal and you are on the senior freeze, you run the chance of resetting your senior freeze savings. If you reset your senior freeze base year. If you reset your senior freeze base year, you run the risk of your savings going from whatever it was to a lot less. Well, if your savings are not what they were, and they are less, there is a chance that your tax bill may increase. So that is a risk you are going to have to take if that's what you want to do. If you were my mom or my grandma, I would encourage you not to appeal if you are receiving the senior freeze. You got to talk to them.
If the Orland Township is full, they can't take anymore, can you go to like Payless Township?
Great question. Can you go to a different, great question, can you go to a different township besides your own to file your appeal? I don't know.
There you go.
No, but what I would do if I were you is I would just call them. Hey guys, my township is booked. I just need help. Can you help? The worst thing they could do is say no. Best thing they could do is say yeah.
This person wants to know where they find their PIN number.
Your PIN number can be located everywhere. So it is on your reassessment notice at the very top. It is at the very top left-hand corner of your tax bills. It is on our website. You go to cookcountyassessor.com, put in your address, and then your PIN number will populate. You can call us directly to give it to you. You can probably call your mortgage. They'll probably have it because they pay your tax bill. So you can get it anywhere.
Without any improvements to my property, isn't a greater than 62% increase in assessed value unrealistically high?
I am not an analyst, but if your home, or homes like yours, I should say, are selling for X amount of dollars, and enough of them are, unfortunately, your property is worth that now. That's it. Look at that.
If you do home improvements on the inside of your home, like finish your basement, you don't get any permits, how is the assessor going to know?
Because my very first day on the job, 12 years ago, I'm at the counter. Hi, they're called squeal appeals, by the way. I would like to file a squeal appeal. Come on, guys, I'm the new guy, you're hazing me. Yeah, right. No, I want to file a squeal appeal. What the heck is that? Well, I want to let you know that my neighbor across the street has not let you know that they have a full functioning apartment in their attic and a garden unit in their basement. Ma'am, how do you know this? Because this is my best friend. Our husbands get drunk in the basement and we play cards in the attic. Literally what she told me. So will we know immediately? No, but everyone's a good neighbor until you piss them off. So run the risk.
We do have some questions that came in over email. My assessment went from 242,000 to 460,000. My question is, I have the senior freeze. How will this affect me come tax time?
So great question. There is no way to guesstimate what your tax bill is going to be. However, that much of an increase, I guarantee your senior free savings is going to be amazing. That was a what? 288, oh my gosh.
Go ahead out there.
A 200
He's still talking.
value increase, correct? Yeah, that's going to be a nice senior free savings.
So if I'm in a condo, are you saying that filing a appeal will negate my senior freeze?
No, great question. What I am saying is it will affect your senior freeze. How it will affect, we won't know until it happens. So the question you need to ask yourself is, how much are you saving on your senior freeze? If it's $300, $400, $500, personally, appeal, who cares? You'll probably get that difference in a reduction. But if you're saving $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to gamble and lose that amount of a savings? That's the question you need to ask.
I have had the senior freeze 2017 through 2021, and if I don't file an appeal, do I still get the freeze?
Great question. You do have to apply for the freeze annually because it is income-based, and you could win the lottery one year and no longer qualify, right? So we need you to apply annually, but I can tell you, if you have been on the freeze since 2017, you probably have a senior free savings ranging from like $500 to $1,000. So you have to ask yourself, is that something you want to not jeopardize, but play with, right? So that's a question you would have to sit down with, whoever you are making these decisions with and kind of decide together.
How do I apply for it again, the senior free?
Great question. CookCountyAssessor.com, click on the word exemption, click on the word senior freeze, and fill out the paperwork, or go to your township assessor's office, or go to one of your branch locations, downtown, Markham, Skokie, or Bridgeview. No problem.
Asking, do we only need to put one name when filling out the form?
Great question. When you are, I'm assuming the appeal form? When you are filing your appeal, you want to make sure whoever is filling this out is in fact the owner. Sorry. Is in fact the owner of the property.
Can you please explain, so mine went up 40%, how my taxes are not going to go up above 1% that it states in the letter, that your taxes won't go up over 1%?
I am not an analyst, so I can't tell you what your taxes are going to be. However, I can tell you that when the water rises, all the boats do too, right? So if everybody's value has increased X amount, then the burden of paying that tax is going to stay the same, if that makes sense. If everyone, we're just going to keep the math simple. If everybody's paying $10 and their value is X, and your township still needs the $10 to survive, but your values are increased, it doesn't matter. Your township still only needs that $10, so that tax bill is not going to be as great as you thought it was going to be. So I hope that helps.
This person wants to know why they did not receive their reassessment notice.
I have no idea. However, you can contact us directly, and we can, in fact, send you a new one. So, well, actually, sometimes, depending on how things are set up, it could have been sent to your mortgage company. If you have a trust, it could have been sent to one of them. It just depends on what's happening.
You mentioned, Peggy, cleaning house. Could you tell us if we're paying for the empty lots the empty buildings on the south and west side of Chicago, considering they get way more services than we do out of the county?
I don't even know what that question means. So your township, you pay, okay, so actually, yes, I do. If you look at your tax bill, your second installment tax bill, you have a big yellow box on your second installment tax bill. Ms. Gale, can you go to that for me really quick? The second installment tax bill. Your specific township has a tax burden or tax levies, whatever word you want to use, for your area. So people who live in these areas pay for these things. If you don't live there, you're not paying for none of it. See the big yellow box? Everything's itemized. Miscellaneous taxes, school taxes, municipality taxes, township taxes, county taxes, it's all itemized there. You are responsible or you are paying for where you live, not anywhere else. Let her bring you the mic so everyone, no worries, so that everyone can hear.
Anything more?
I can't hear the question, ladies and gentlemen.
Is there anything online from that assessor's office or anywhere else that would explain the circumstance with that senior freeze? Because I'm trying to understand what my options are. I know you're saying it's not to an advantage to do that, but
It
on
may
the
not
other-
be to an advantage.
Is there anything that I can read about it online in any particular area, or is this like a secret?
No, it's not a secret. So you can read the statute, you can read the legislation, but let's connect afterwards and I'll have somebody send you something directly. Yeah.
We have a question out here.
We have a question out there?
If I purchased a new house late last year, can I still submit a dispute?
An appeal, I'm assuming?
Yes, an appeal.
Beautiful, yeah. So if you bought your home in 2022 and you are appealing in 2023, I can't tell you what to do, but I would absolutely submit that information, especially if I bought it for less than what the assessor's office said it was worth. Actually, that's what happened to me. I bought my house December 22nd, 2016. 2017, I was reassessed. They said my property was worth 220. I said negative. I just bought it for 160, and so did everybody else here. And that's what I used to file my appeal. You can turn in your closing documentation. I would turn all of that in. My appraisal, my plat of survey, like literally everything. That's what I would do.
I live in a duplex community. Some of the homes there are ranches. Some are ranches with walkout basements that are used as sometimes related living. And all of them are assessed at the same. So what I'm trying to find out is all the square footage is assessed as the same, even though those are walkout basements. So how could I use those as a comp?
You absolutely can. Great question. So your property is assessed livable square foot area above ground only. Length times width times height, right? So the question is, do those walkout basements count as livable square foot area? The answer is it depends, right? Is it a garden unit? Is it an actual living space? Or is it just oh my gosh, is it just a basement? When you are finding your comparables, you want to just make sure you stick with if you're doing it on our website, you want to make sure you are using what we give you, because what we give you is going to match everything you need to find comparables. Remember that property classes encompass many different square footages. So just because your square footage is 1,500, I'm just making it up, and mine is 1,800, doesn't mean we're not comparable. If we're still in the same property class, we absolutely are. We're in the same range.
But all of them show the same square footage, even though they have walkout basements.
Yeah, and again, that might not be livable square foot area. It just depends on the situation.
So if you use Realtor.com or one of those, and it shows that all these properties have recently been sold and now they're listed as double the square footage, on the realtor.com compared to what it says on here, is that usable as a comp then?
So I don't know if I would use that as a comp. I would use what's on our website. So if it's on our website as the same square footage, then I would use it. But I wouldn't use someone else's website and then try to say that it's comparable to mine. If it's different,
How can I use it as a comparable if it's both the same?
so why would you use Realtor? If our office says it's the same, then use what's on our office. Why would you go somewhere else?
Because somewhere else says it's their square footage is double.
Exactly, so that wouldn't help you then. That wouldn't make your argument matter. Like, it would only help you as if their value was less than yours. I mean, their square footage was less than yours. Then I would say, oh, no. Realtor says this square footage is 1,000 square feet, and the assessor's office says it's 12. There's a discrepancy here. What are we going to do about it? Versus the other way, that's...
But there's, one shows 1,800 square feet, the other one shows 3,700 square feet.
And again, for your argument to make sense, you want your square footage to be less, you want the square footage you're comparing yours to be less than yours, or in your property class, not greater than yours. So I would use whatever website fits the narrative I'm trying to use. No problem.
Excuse me. Excuse me, I think maybe I didn't understand it, but yesterday I initiated the appeal, and when
I can't even hear you. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
yesterday I initiated the appeal online, and when I reached to the comparable, I put my PIN number and everything is backed up. Right now, my house is 3,000 square feet. Can I compare it like to 200, to like 2,080, 800 or less than? And what's the age? My age is 37. Can I compare it with 45, 40?
Great question. Great question. So again, when you guys are finding comparables on our website, as long as you use what's auto-populated, meaning what's already there, it's going to be comparable to yours. It doesn't matter what the square footage is. It doesn't matter what the age is because it's all within your property class. It's what you can use. I would not encourage anyone to try to go out and venture out and find them on your own outside of one of the systems we provided, because then you run the risk of using the wrong ones, and then it doesn't matter. Yep. I think, are we going to do a question out there, or, oh, you're in here. I apologize. Yes.
And then the only comparables we would use are those that are less than what we're being assessed at.
So I can't tell you what to do, but if I was finding comparables, I would try to find ones that were where I believe my property is actually worth. So if our office says, I'm just making up a number, your home is worth 100,000, and you're like, no way, and you find properties that are worth 90, 80, I would probably use those. Yep. I just, for legal reasons, I can't say, go ahead and do that. People are getting in trouble left and right out here. I got kids, I don't want no trouble. Any other questions? We'll go here and then we'll go here. Yes.
How can I write, like, I'm not a big paper, but just a couple sentences to explain? Like, for example, when I bought the house, it is over what I expect, but I need to buy the house because that time we get a good rate, and also everyone is looking for a house. I bought it with above that amount. So can I explain this when I do over evaluation?
Great question. An unfortunate situation. If our office said your house is worth 100 grand, but you bought your house for more than that, you're going to have a hard time proving overvaluation. Oh, okay, great. When did you buy it?
420.
No, when did you buy it? What year? 2021. So, okay, good example. He purchased his home in 2021 for X. Our office says it's worth more than what he bought it for. I would absolutely use my closing documentation, my appraisal, my plat, anything that I have.
Can I explain to you what is that, because I need to buy a house, and
That doesn't mean anything. If you prove I paid less than what our office says it's worth, you have a very good chance. I'm not saying you'll win, but you have a very good chance. Huh? No, we don't do that. No.
I just had a question about the senior, the
Yes.
senior exemption versus a senior freeze exemption. How do you know which was more beneficial to you?
Senior freeze is always going to be more beneficial because the longer you're on it, the greater it becomes, the lower your tax bill is. But the senior citizen is great too. So it's just an extra add-on. It's an extra discount.
Senior freeze exemption with the lower income is better or the other?
No. So you're going to get a discount regardless. It's be a lot better for you to get 3 discounts instead of 2.
Can you apply for both of these?
Absolutely.
Oh,
You
I
can do
didn't
the homeowner.
realize.
You can do 4. Homeowner, senior freeze, and disabled person if you qualify. You can get up to 4. You just cannot combine disabled veteran and disabled person because it's kind of the same thing, and senior freeze and the long time because it's kind of the same thing. And in your question, yes, sir. I don't want any trouble.
The units that went up for sale in our condo association, before you can sell them, the real estate says, I can't sell it like this. You gotta update it. The people are putting $40,000 and $50,000 into them. So they're selling for $220 and $230. I didn't put nothing into it. Mine's still worth, what, $170, $180? But everybody's selling for $240 and $250, $230. Right, they're tearing out walls. They're putting in new cabinets, new appliances, new floors.
So what do? Right? So here's the reality. For condos, you guys are done differently than residential property or than houses, right? You guys are assessed at percentage of ownership. So it's your condo building versus another condo building. So it is in your best. How many units you guys got?
78.
Listen, I can't tell you what to do, but it would probably be in your best interest to appeal all together because they're not comparing your unit to the unit above you. That's not what's happening. It's your building versus another building. So that's how that's done for condos. I'm sorry, same thing's happening to my parents. Yeah.
Who determines, or how is the property class determined? She has a neighbor that has a house that's identical, has a different property class.
Yeah, so property class is just how we were given when the developer or the construction or whoever made the house gave it to us. So things can change, obviously. People can add additions, people can take things away, people can make renovations. So I'm not telling you what to do, but you can absolutely do a squeal appeal and say, hey, the person across the street says they're a 212. That's irrelevant, but they should really be a 211, or they should really be a 234, or really, and then our office would investigate. That's how you do that. Any other questions? Yes.
I feel like I have a unique situation.
Let's go.
I purchased my place in 2018, and there was a senior exemption and a senior freeze. The senior freeze was removed, but not the senior exemption. Am I going to be liable for that? Because I didn't know until I got the reassessment that that was on there. I noticed the price difference, so I assumed everything was removed when I gave everything to the real estate attorney that handled everything. So what do I do?
You're going to talk to me when we're done. You didn't do anything wrong, but I want to help you so you don't get... Yes.
So we were talking about units in a condo. So I'm in a townhouse, there's 99 units, but there's 4 units in one
Grab the mic.
building.
Can you grab the mic?
Oh, so there's 4 units in one building where I'm living. So I need to figure out for those 4 units?
What does your PIN number end in? 4 zeros or something else?
No, something else.
Okay, so you are a condo. You guys are done differently, but you're a townhome that operates as a condo association, correct?
Right, but the association has 99 units, but my building, there's 4 in my building. Some buildings have 4 units, some have 6.
Yeah, yours is unique then. Yours is different. What I would do, this is not legal counsel, this is just 2 people talking. I would find another building that has 4 units, you said?
Yes.
And see what those values are and compare and use them as comparables. It's a little bit different because you're not technically a condo, but you are, and you operate like mine does. Mine operates that way, except we're not considered condos because our PIN numbers end in 4 zeros. So it's a little bit, it's the same thing, but a little bit different. So I would find buildings that have 4 units and then look at those and see what those sold for or what the values of those are and find the lowest ones of those and use those as my comparables.
So you use the lowest value of the comparables that
For her situation. Yeah. Any other questions? How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Are we good? I think we have one more question.
I just want to get back to these townhomes with the walkout basements. So are you saying that if you have a walkout basement that's finished with a kitchen and a bathroom and a bedroom and everything, that's not livable space?
I never said that at all. I'm saying our office is given information and we are basing our decisions based on the information we have. If you're saying the information is incorrect, then you should let us know. It's called a squeal appeal. And you should say, hey, the person across the street is in fact doesn't have this. Their square footage is actually doubled from 18 to 34 or whatever you said, and here's the proof. That's what you should do or can do.
Okay, so can you use the realtor's sales that show right on there how many square foot they're selling as?
But listen, that's not gonna work. The purpose of an appeal is to lower your value. If you're gonna show documentation of value or properties that are greater in value, that's counterproductive. That doesn't help.
What the deal is they, when they built these houses, all the ranches were listed as 1,800 square feet, but they're not all equal. Some of them have the walkout basements. Some of them have sold with finished basements, bathrooms and everything down there, 3,700 square feet, and they're still paying it 1,800 square feet.
So your concern isn't, I want to use them as a comparable. You want them to pay what they should be paying. That's. So rat them out. That's what a squeal appeal's for. How would we know that? How would we know that that's what they're doing? We don't know that. That's what the squeal appeal is for. Saying, hey, this person over here says their square foot is 1,800. That's not true. Here's the proof. Oh, let us fix that. No, we don't. Realtors don't sell homes for what they're worth. Realtors sell homes for what they can get. Doesn't matter. Realtors do not sell houses for what they're worth. So if you want to do that, file a squeal appeal. Contact our office. I would like to file a squeal appeal. That's literally what it's called.
We have a question back here.
Yes.
I just wanted some clarification.
Absolutely.
I got a little confused. So I live in a condo. It's a traditional condo, like.
In a building with other units?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I understand, I looked at my code, the neighborhood code. Are you saying that I should be looking for comps, not necessarily in my building, like not my brick and mortar neighbors, but like my neighbors across the street or the next street
That's
over?
exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, not in my building?
No.
Okay.
Great question. So remember, because you're a condo unit, how many units you have?
See, that's another weird thing. Most of the buildings have 12.
How many do you have?
And mine has 8.
Okay, so you are 100 divided by 8 plus common areas or common use areas, whatever. You might have an elevator, I don't know. You might have hallways, you might have whatever. You are not your unit. You are part of that building. So that building needs to be assessed against, I hate using the word against, but with another building similar to it. That's how condos are done. When you file your condo appeal, you can't even submit comparables. Oh, guys, I need 1 second. My grandma needs her medicine. 1 second, hold on. 1 second.
That makes sense, though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, I'm still at work. Abuela needs her medicine. It's the red cup. Yeah, it's the red cup I already filled up. And then it's everything in that bag, everything in the bag. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your understanding.